Vag. What you gonna do when it's hot outside? Ooh, I know what. Listen to Vag. What you gonna do when the trains are down? Ooh, I know what. Listen to Vag.
All right. Hi, Vagers, Vaggies.
Hi, guys.
Whatever you guys identify as.
Whatever you identify as this week, we support you.
Vagers or Vaggies. That's boy or girl, and you can choose whatever you want.
Well, there's also a ton of stuff in between.
Yeah, I saw that. There was this lady last night that was on TikTok talking about she was born as a hermaphrodite, but she has a testy and ovaries, no Adam's apple, but she has that chromosome that makes her an hermaphrodite. And she said there's something like 36 versions of that. That's why there's so many genders. It's because of that mutation of that gender gene or whatever.
Yeah, but I thought that a lot of, like, you can be born with a dick, but people are saying they still feel female. So that's why.
No, I know. Oh, well, she has both male and female reproductive organs. Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis has something like that. She doesn't have it in the physical form, but she has it on where it's in the chromosome something. So she can't have her own kids. I don't think she was born with like a uterus or a uteral lining, probably.
But she had such a great career. I would take that over being able to have a kid.
Oh yeah, and her body was rocking. And I assume that's because she had quite a bit of testosterone in her. So she burned or didn't have a lot of body fat on her.
I wonder why she never grew her hair out.
I guess some people are just like, I'm a short girl, short haircut lady, and that's what I like. And then I know as you get older, your hair starts, like, my hair is all funky at the bottom now that I do have to keep it at a certain length or it just thins out.
Yeah, maybe she also just, like, her hair identifies with the guy. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
I just ordered scissors to cut my own hair.
Oh, that's smart. I was thinking about doing that because I was just using the ones that you use to cut construction paper with.
Those aren't great. But I think in terms of what's going on in the world, I don't think it really matters. The thing is, they're on back order. It's so weird what's on back order on Amazon because I think people are just cutting their hair at home and buying these dumb Zoom tripods. You know, like, I think everyone's doing the same thing at home. So all that shit's on back order.
Yeah, I wonder what items are like they're fully in stock with because of, like, nobody's really thinking about getting, probably like outdoor stuff. Actually, that's probably up high because people are going camping more.
People are going camping. People are going hiking. Probably like Christmas stuff is really cheap. You can get that easily.
I got back hiking Tuesday. Everything was great until you had to sleep. Have you ever camped before?
No, I was talking to Ari about it because I went hiking last week. First of all, I got lost. I ended up hiking for 3.5 hours, which is not
That's a good
ideal.
amount.
First of all, that is such a long time to hike, and I thought that the trail was going to come back around, but it didn't. It just stopped, so I had to go all the way back from the way which I came. It was really hilly. Like, the first time I went hiking, that shouldn't have been my first time. And the whole time in my head, I was like, you can't even just, like, even if you get tired, you can't stop an Uber. Like, you have to leave. Like, otherwise you're going to be there in the middle of the night.
It's a commitment. You cannot bail out.
You can't. Once you're, so I'm like, I enjoyed it, but I wish I had known that it was going to go back around. Like, I wish I also didn't do it for 3.5 hours going up hills, and I had, like, not the right stuff on. I enjoyed it, but I think it was too long for my first time and not the greatest trail. Yeah. And also, a lot of people that I met on the trail and asked some questions, most of them were nice, but there was, like, these 2 old ladies that were so nasty to me. I know. I think they were just like, well, how do you not know? And they had, like, one of those sticks. I was not prepared at all. I went like I was taking a walk. People had
like
sticks.
In high heels.
Yeah, I mean, I had, like, sneakers on that my feet got really wet from instead of going water. I just wasn't prepared. I've never gone hiking before.
Yeah.
was telling Ari when I seen your pictures, and he was like, "Oh, it was really nice. He's like, it's so nice to sleep outside and hear the stream all night." And I was like, "That sounds like a nightmare."
It's in theory, and I've been camping a few times that now I'm just like, just know that you are not going to sleep. So I took CBD and a Tylenol PM, and I was so anxious that it was like I did blow all night. Like I could not, and my mattress was uncomfortable. I didn't have a pillow, so I'm just kind of like sleeping like this. Any kind of twig snapping. I thought there was a woods guy combing our.
God. I would never be able to do that, because he said to me something like, if I would want to like go sleeping out there, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, and I was the only girl that I had this fear of like, well, of course I'll be the first one raped. Like,
oh, and like even by the people you were with. You're just like, I hope
if
Joe
things got
rapes
really
me
bad.
first. Yeah, you're like, I hope Joe rapes me first. I don't want to get raped by Ari. But yeah, that is true. Wait, were you in a tent at least, or you just outside?
No, we were in a tent. I don't think I could do the outside sleeping because of all the bugs. There were a lot of bugs, but I didn't get bitten that much. But it's only fun with like friends, and then in the past you would just drink a whole bunch so you would black out. So then it didn't even matter where you slept. You could just sleep in a field and it would be fine. That I was like, they should make like heroin for campers that you could just inject yourself and then nod out for about 8 hours.
Yeah, well, the problem is you don't want to get addicted to it. Like, do you think there would be a lot of stories where they'd be like, how did you get addicted to heroin? And everyone at the meeting would be like, well, I went camping and I took that heroin dose and I really liked it.
Yeah. And then there's no heroin supply in the woods. So unless you just grew your own poppies.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, did you sleep at all? I feel like I would not sleep at all. Anything I heard, I would think is a bear. Even if I was sleeping on the sidewalk, I would still think a bear was coming. Well, I would never sleep outside.
Bobby started talking about a tribe of Indians that get mad when you're up in their territory that they kill you right before we went to bed. So then I was just worried that
this tribe of Indians is going to come.
Yeah. That I was just, I guess it just seems creepy to know that there could be a guy living in the woods that just roams and tries to like find food. Kind of like Ted Kaczynski would do that, like just break into people's property to take the things that he needed.
I mean, I don't know. I think I've been watching like a lot of serial killer movies, like not movies, but documentaries and stuff right before I go to bed, and I'm having the worst nightmares. Like I should not be watching them before. I'm watching so many of them every night. It's just Mindhunter is kind of like that also. It's so that's like a TV show, but there's still like mostly serial killers. Then I watched one about the BTK killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever see that guy? That guy was like a serial killer for like 30 years, and he ended up getting caught because he trusted the guy that he was corresponding with. He asked him, he was like, can I get caught if I send you? Because like the thing about those serial killers is when people forget about them, they get sad. So like they like need to come back and kill again so people will talk about them.
Yeah, it's like attention. It's like doing podcasts for us.
Yes, exactly. So this guy is corresponding with, I guess, this guy that's the head of, I don't know, somewhere. I'm not paying attention great to it, but he asked him if he can, if he sends him a floppy disk, if it could be traced, and he said no, and then that's how they traced him. And then when they caught him, he was like, "Why'd you lie to me?" And he's like, "Because I'm trying to catch you." Like he's like, "We're not friends."
Yeah, you're killing people.
Yeah, and then they had the daughter of this guy, and the daughter's just like, how fucked up is that? Like this guy, because I guess when they were trying to catch him, they were like, we can't catch this guy because he's one of us. That's true. He was like the head of this, like, I guess this congregation, and like he was just like he was like a family guy. He had 2 kids, And like he would go camping with his son with the Boy Scouts, and then like when they were camping, he would leave, go kill somebody, and then go right back in the tent so he had an alibi. Which I mean is a great idea. But like, how crazy is that? You go murder somebody and then you go lay back in a tent with your son.
And then you feel fine. Like, I just obsess over any stupid thing I say the night before, and that guy has the ability to just murder somebody and just sleep and go back to life quietly.
Think about stuff we've said on the podcast where you're like, fuck, I hope somebody doesn't freak out over that. And this guy's just murdering people and he's fine with it. I do think, like, minus the murdering part, how great is it to be that guy where he doesn't care?
Oh, I would love to have a little bit of that in this business, to not give a shit.
Yeah, where you're just like, I'm going to go do whatever I want. I'm not worried about anyone's feelings.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny, too, because when all the killings were happening, I think the daughter was scared, and he was like, you have nothing to worry about. But it would have been nice if she was just like, hey, I'm killing everyone. I won't kill you.
Yeah, yeah.
How crazy is that to be the wife? Even, like, didn't Ted Bundy also, like, have a wife and stuff, and then they go out and kill people, and they come back in the bed?
They didn't kill people, but she came to visit him in prison, and I think they managed to have sex, and they had a child together.
No, I'm saying, I thought Ted Bundy was married, and, like, he would sneak out at night and then go kill people and then come back home and lay in bed with his wife.
Yeah, I thought you meant that they both went out killing.
That would have been a fun way to bond. You know, there's like couples are like, what can we do together?
I know she's like, you never invite me to go out when you go murdering people.
I mean, like,
I'd like to be included in your life.
That's so funny. Has there ever been a couple that's done that together?
Something like it, but usually it's like the woman is the one that lures the young girl in, and then she gets her husband to like fuck them, and then they murder. Like, she does it to you like me, right?
Like Epstein and Ghislaine, but instead they weren't murdering people.
Yeah, they were just raping young girls.
You know what's funny? I said Epstein, so it made me think of Chris D'Elia, which is weird because like I saw something from his reps that they kind of they disputed what he said, and they said that they didn't actually show proof though. They said they had the exchange, and one girl said something like she wasn't old enough, and he was like, hey, I can't talk to you anymore. And then there was another one where it was like similar, where like she said she was young and he was like, I'm out. But like they're not actually showing the conversation, they're just telling that.
Yeah, I think he still proceeded to like talk. And then also, one was where she came back when she was 21 and was like, I'm 21 now, and then he never responded. And that's what his crisis management team put out, where you're like, why would you put that? Doesn't make your client look better if he's like, as soon as she was 21, she reaches out and he doesn't want to have anything to do with her.
Well, what's interesting is first she said she was 16. I thought this is why they were putting it out. First she said she's 16. He's like, I can't talk to you. And then 3 years later, she's like, oh, I'm 21, which meant when he was talking to her, she was 18. I thought that's why they put that out. But who knows?
Oh, okay. No, it's confusing. Well, in some states, Joe looked it up, and I think in half the states, the age of consent is 16.
16?
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe he's not guilty then. I don't know.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, technically, he probably had to do a lot of research into each state that he went in.
Yeah, to know what he could do. Kind of like when you kill somebody, knowing whether or not that state has a death penalty, where you're like, I want to do this crime, but I don't want to die.
Yeah. He, so I guess you could mark it down to sexual misconduct, that the age difference is inappropriate. I don't know, because you're like, I know it's the law,
but it's still
gross. Yeah. And then I just watched a little bit of his special.
I watched the whole thing last night.
He talks like a teenage boy. For real?
He talks like a teenage boy, but he also talks a lot about like respecting women, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, it's bullshit. He didn't give a shit. I don't think it's like those guys that write really great love songs and then they beat them.
I guess, but like he was just talking about how like no woman wants to see your dick, and even if you ask her and she says yes, you have to like show it to her, but like an inch at a time or something like that. I wasn't listening to the whole thing because obviously I was still texting on social media.
Yeah,
But
just
like that was
background
just
noise.
yeah, it was background noise. But he did a lot of stuff. Yeah, very
But he probably
juvenile.
knows that. He probably knows that. You know what I mean? Like he probably threw it out, and then he was like, "Oh, I guess girls don't want to see your dick," and then he's like, "I'll do that as a bit."
I guess so. But what a weird thing to like take your dick out and then girls are like, ew.
Well, I think that's why Aziz Ansari got his called out a little bit, even though he didn't break the law. It's just that he's this guy that kept on promoting being like, you really got to be considerate, and it just didn't seem like he was that great of a guy on a date.
Well, I think that's why everyone went after Cosby so bad. It's like Cosby was like,
and the 40 rapes.
well, also it's funny now people. I think Camille or somebody said that his all those rapes and stuff is because of racism. You're like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of racist stuff going on right now. I don't know that Cosby's rape cases have anything to do with racism, but I thought she left him. I guess she's with him again.
Yeah, I had no idea. That's a lot of it, like that stuff I never follow up. Like I did too. I thought I heard that she had divorced him. But
I
maybe
did
you
too,
just
but
put that out and then you know that no one ever follows up on it.
yeah, I think I read something where I think they're trying to overturn one of his cases, so he might actually like get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people went after him so hard because he was like telling people don't sag your pants, and he was such like a goody two shoes. Meanwhile, he's like a huge rapist.
Yeah. A really disgusting person.
And he wasn't using Quaaludes. That's how long
Yeah.
ago his rapes were. I don't even think they have Quaaludes anymore.
No, I don't know what he was using towards in the 90s up to the 2000s.
But yeah, it was interesting watching Dalia's special because you're right. He is like a child. Like he's a man baby. His act is like his whole closing bit, I think, is about taking a shit. And like, you didn't watch the whole thing, right?
No, I got to the point about showing your dick, being that a weird superhuman power being, and then yeah, I kind of just closed out at that point.
Something about I don't remember it because it wasn't that remarkable. Something about someone taking oh, I know. His grandfather or his friend's grandfather took a shit in front of them, and he denied it and was just like, "What?" And he was like, "Wow, imagine like that." And like he went on like a 5-minute bit about that. Imagine like if you took a shit somewhere and you're like, nothing's gonna derail me from, I don't know, shooting somebody. It was like so dumb and crazy, but it lasted forever. I don't even remember the whole joke. It was something about like being in a drive-by and you're gonna shoot somebody and you're definitely gonna kill them because the next day you're moving to like Canada and then you shit your pants. It was just like so dumb.
Yeah. A lot of his stuff I don't even remember because it all falls under the line of the same shit that you hear over and over again.
I know, but it's so weird to me because people say like he murders at the Comedy Store. Is the Comedy Store just like a lot of young girls?
Maybe for him, but if those shows are usually showcase shows, so it's probably like a gamut of people. I like people like comics like him with that act. They like, even we don't find it funny and it doesn't make us laugh, but I tell you, I've never seen those guys ever really eat a dick.
That's true. So people do like it.
Yeah.
I remember I had this boyfriend like many years ago that when I was doing comedy, he was like, "You ruined comedy for me." He's like, "I used to be able to just enjoy a nice hacky comic and laugh and that's it." And he's like, "I would come to these shows with you and you just point out all these different things." He's like, "I don't find comedy fun anymore." And I was like, "Well, neither do I." It's crazy. Like, I don't.
No, it's true. And like, we all have do certain like tricks while we're on stage that work. And you're like, just, certain things work. And they're not necessarily funny, but like, like doing this guy knows what I'm talking about.
I know, but I think he said before he ever met me, like he could just watch like a terrible comic and think it was funny. Do you know what I mean? And I guess once you're in the business for so long, you become so skeptical, and I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
Like-
know now that when you tell someone you do stand up, like when I would wait tables and then they were like, oh, I love this comic. And it usually was somebody like a Carlos Mencia or something that was big at the time. And then you would have to bite your tongue because you want to be like, that guy's like an hack.
I know
Because they don't know that.
I know, but I guess it's kind of like us liking cheesy bands like Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
People are like, that's not real music. And you're like, but
Yeah.
I like it. And then you're like, well, come to some open mics with me and listen to people sing songs and I'll ruin everything you like.
You're like, I don't like it because it's
like,
not
part
popular.
Part of me would love to watch Chris D'Elia's special and think it was funny. Like, how great would that be if I watched that special and I was hysterical laughing for an hour?
Yeah.
Instead of being able to like watch it and also have 7 conversations on social media.
It's weird. I know my niece one time was like, can I show you my favorite sketch from SNL? And it was in the last few years. And she showed it to me. And I was like, I didn't even laugh once. And then I go, I don't understand even what this sketch is about. And she was like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's not funny. I just like how they sound.
I mean, how do you even try and make an act like that?
I don't Well, I'll have to say this. Like, I remember growing up, I liked Janine Garofalo a whole bunch. And I would say that I probably didn't laugh out loud hysterically compared to, like, say, a Brian Regan or Mitch Hedberg at the time. But I did enjoy her observations on stuff and her take that it was fine, that I liked her. And then I also liked her in the movies.
Yeah, she was good in like Dogma.
Yeah.
What was that? Wet Hot American Summer? It's such a good, funny movie.
Joe and I always quote her line from Cable Guy when she's the waitress at the Renaissance Festival or the Medieval Times. And the guy's like, he's like, can I get silverware? And she's like, they didn't have silverware at that time. And he's like, but they had Pepsi. And then she goes, dude, I have a lot of tables. And I always say that when somebody's giving me a lot of problems about something that doesn't matter. I'm just like, dude, I got a lot of tables.
That's really funny. I love
what
lines from movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wet Hot American Summer. That is a movie that still makes me laugh, though.
Oh, it's so good. I just watched Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman, and those ones still
Best in Show. What made me laugh hysterically, first of all, Best in Show is amazing.
Yeah.
Again, I've watched that a bunch of times too, and I'll still laugh. When the lady with the blonde hair, I can't think of her name. When she's
Jennifer Coolidge or the lesbian, Jane Lynch?
No, Jennifer Coolidge.
Okay.
The one that's married to the American Pie dad.
She's great.
Yeah. He's great too in it. So when they go to her ex-boyfriend's house and he's like clearly hitting on her at the table, like it's so bizarre that the husband doesn't want to go there because he's like, your ex always hits on you. And then they're sitting at the dinner table. And I mean, when I tell you I couldn't stop hysterically laughing, it was like my favorite part of the whole movie.
Oh, I think Jennifer Coolidge is the one that's married to the rich old man. We're thinking Catherine O'Hara.
Catherine O'Hara, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, every time a guy's like, whatever her name is.
I don't remember what it was, but like the guy is clearly flirting with her at the table in front of his wife. And it's just so fucking funny. And then I think, isn't their son at the table too? And he wants to get up and leave. It's like, if you're looking for a good movie to make you laugh, Best in Show is great.
Oh, yeah.
So
Larry Miller is so good in it. Like his part where his job is to talk people down from a ledge. And he's like, they all jump. Where you get trade secret, they all jump. And then also, 5 minutes later, his son's on the shed. And he's like, if you don't come down, I will gouge your eye out with my thumb. And then you're like, oh, that's how he talks people off the shed.
That's so funny. I think also dog people are crazy like that. Like when they're so competitive with each other, like dog people can also be nuts like that.
Yeah, and those 2 gay men are really great too. Michael McKean and that guy, I think is
everyone's name. I know nobody's name from it.
Those 2 guys,
Lynch.
when they bring kimonos to their hotel and they're just like,
put it on
nailing
the,
up a
yeah,
tapestry.
nailing stuff. And then like the dog's hair is like a waterfall.
Yeah. Oh shit. Siri's being
What?
annoying. She every time I say something with an S, she comes up and then she's like, "Let me show you what I found on tapestry," because I said tapestry.
Oh, I thought every time you say something with an S, like for sex, she's like, "Did somebody need me?" Do you think they're like able to catch people who are, I guess if you have like Alexa and all these dumb things, if you're like saying you're gonna kill somebody, they can actually hear it and use.
There was one case that Alexa did help out solving a murder.
Like, how insane is that? Having
Super
an Alexa
insane.
having an Alexa in your house.
Well, I always worry, you know, when sometimes you're talking shit and there was that voice activation when they could call that name that you say. I always have that fear, like, calling such and such now. Gonna let them know what you just said about them. You're like, no, Siri, stop.
I'm going to tell them. You
Oh,
think
she's
they're
back
a
again.
dumb. Oh, how crazy
I
is
fucking
that?
hate her.
That's
I should
so
disable
hilarious.
her.
She's like, no, don't disable me.
I never use her. Do you ever use Siri?
I don't
She's
even know
back.
how to get. Jesus, I don't even say a
I-
different name. Treat her like she's a child and spell her name Siri.
Okay, I'll try to. Maybe I'll call her Suri.
She'll probably pick that up.
She didn't pick up.
I don't even know how to use it. I don't think I've ever activated on my phone.
I've done it a few times, but it's never it doesn't really save me time. And then you still have to hit something, like click on it, and then it'll take you there. That I've just never thought it was that, amazing. If I had Alexa and it was connected to everything in my apartment, where I was like, Alexa, preheat my oven. Alexa, turn my heat on.
We're probably only like 10 years away from that, if that.
Yeah. Well, I just talked to somebody about that recently, and they were like worried about safety concern or like your data, because just think how much your phone has about you. Like, you can go into a store or you're nearby something, and then 2 seconds later you look at Instagram and it's part of your ads.
Somebody had a really funny meme where they said something like, I'm going to just talk out loud about this stuff I want, and then let like the ads come up on my phone to see what my best options are.
I know. I saw that one. She was like, I've just been talking about the rugs that I want, hoping that Alexa or Instagram ads will find it for me.
Yeah, everything is so connected and we're being watched so much. I wish I could not have a phone. Like if I could just have a regular phone that has no internet on it.
Oh, yeah. Joe just got a beta type from Ari about a phone. It's like Human Light. And what it has is like you can text. You just put your SIM card from your iPhone and you can put it in there, and it just allows you to do maps, texting, and phone calls, but everything else, like you can't go online. So you can't check social media through the day. So he's going to try that, but I think he's kind of nervous to start it. But I want to try it just to see if I'll be happier.
I think I'll be happier. First of all, I'm getting so sick of social media. I posted something yesterday. I went to sleep and I woke up to people just having a 40 comment fight under my post.
Oh, really? That's pretty fun though.
Yeah, but it was about.
What was your comment?
Well, it wasn't my comment. It was like I had posted that the cops that, not the cops, the people that had killed Ahmaud Arbery, they were like all arrested. And then there was 2 people fighting about, I guess one guy was saying something that I thought was definitely not correct. So there's just 2 people fighting. You know what I mean? Like there was a regular fight where one guy was like, well, what about his record? And I was like, this doesn't matter. Like no matter what he did, no one had a right to kill him. That's bullshit.
Yeah, and you can't take the law into your own hands like that either.
No, and then the stuff that they also said wasn't true. Because I watched that video and they're like, well, they tried to detain him and he fought them. I was like, that didn't happen at all.
Yeah.
He was just jogging by them. So that's not true. So I was like, all right, this comment's getting deleted. And then I go further down and someone's like, well, what about what just happened in Chicago? And they're like, what about the 3-year-old that just got shot? I'm like, I'm not aware of everything that's going on all the time. Like
you're just talking about this one case.
I know, but it's just like, why can't I post this? And then everyone's like, well, how come you're not posting about that? And it's like, well, I don't know everything that's going on all the time.
Yeah.
So I just took all the comments off of it. But I'm just over all of it. Like I want to just post whatever I want to post, like our podcast or a joke or two, and then just leave my phone somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just making me crazy. And then all the stuff that you just find out about COVID, like yesterday was supposed to be about highest day of cases in the whole country. And you're like, it's so nice out. Everybody's out. Like it feels like nothing's really changed, but like we're going to go towards being in a total quarantine again.
I love phase 2 because it's like cafe bars. Siri, get out of here.
You might have to get a restraining order against Siri.
I'll probably just have to go into my settings and disable her for right now. Yeah, everybody's out. It's like European cafe style eating right now in Astoria. So it has this like cool vibe. We're on government money, so we can go out and hang if you wanted to. I ate outside the other day at a diner and
how did that
out
feel?
of New York City, and it was pretty, I mean, it wasn't great, but it was nice to sit down with friends and have a meal.
I know. It's just, I'm still worried. So I'm basically just kind of walking. I'm going to meet up with my friend on Friday. I don't know. I'm still kind of worried. Like I did get food from a restaurant I liked, the salad, because I was up in Mount Kisco when I went hiking. And then I just ate it in my car though. They didn't have outside dining anyway. But I'm just like, I'm still kind of worried about, no one has masks on. Like,
we didn't wear masks outside in the area that we were eating at, but the waitress had a mask on.
None of those people did. So like when I was driving the other day from walking, there was like a ton of seats lined up outside, and like the wait staff didn't have masks on or anyone. So you're just like, I don't know. It's like
that's
also
weird.
crazy.
I bet you they get in trouble for doing that. I feel like under health, New York City.
I would think
well, it's New York
so.
City. If they're outside of New York City, maybe it's just different.
Oh yeah, it's Westchester.
Yeah, it could
Maybe
be
it is a little
different rules. But Westchester got hit hard as well with COVID.
They did, but they opened up sooner than New York City.
Oh, okay.
Like their phase 2 started before ours. Because I remember just driving back to the Bronx and seeing just like a ton of people outside. Like it was cool to see because it gives you the sense of normalcy, but also at the same time you're like, Jesus, man, what is gonna happen to us?
Yeah. I don't know, but I am enjoying phase 2. I don't know what phase 3 holds off. Joe just got a haircut today.
Oh, nice.
God,
did he have to wear a mask?
Yeah, but then the guy, like, Joe said he reached to shake Joe's hand. He's just like a Russian guy. Not that it has anything to do, but it does feel like old Russians are like, eh.
I think old people in general. Like I remember when this first started, and I went to, I don't know, it was like Stu Leonard's or something, and there was this old lady with no mask on, no nothing, and I'm like, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
She was just like in the middle of the store. No, I was just like, this is the start of it where everyone was freaking out too. I was like, why is this lady not having a mask? And you're like, well, maybe she didn't have one. You're like, just put anything over your face.
Yeah, something. But that's like, I don't know. And then I feel if I see that, but as long as I'm wearing a mask, I don't really freak out about it too much, but I do keep a safe distance where I'm just like, stop. They're always like, the old ones are always like, what is this? Talking into your face. You're like, hey.
You're like, get away.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I don't know.
Everything's so crazy. So what are you going to do with your shows in July? Are you going to do them? My show's got 2 out of the 4 venues are not open. I think one was Kansas City and one was somewhere else. They're not. So like, we're just going to postpone it. But then also my dates for August, I was supposed to go to DC Loft.
Yeah.
So that's pushed back to like February. I don't know. I think I have like 2 dates in August that I don't know if they're going to happen.
I guess I'm still pushing through. I'm just going to promote being like, please wear a mask to the show.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I don't see why I can't, for just being like, I'm just begging you to please wear a mask. Not for my safety, but for your safety as well.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I mean, to be honest with this show, it's probably not the best attitude to go in, but since it's been 5 months and I'm going into a headlining set, has it been 5 months? It's been
No, it'll be
3.
4 months next
Okay,
month.
4. And so I'm bringing a notebook on stage and I'm probably going to workshop a lot of it and then interweave older, tried and true that it
Yeah.
works for now. And so it's not a complete disaster, and then pick up my paycheck and then go.
Well, I was talking to somebody and they said that to get ready, they were just like listening to old sets, and that it is kind of hard the first couple sets, and then eventually you just kind of get into a groove again.
Yeah.
But I mean, I assume like even if you are a surgeon, like that first person you operate on is probably not going to be the best. You're like,
or like the first pancake that you make always sucks.
it's never great. You're like, hey,
No.
the third one's going to be amazing though.
It's
There's
like
something about that first
burnt and then
pancake.
yeah. What is that?
It's never good, and it's never like fluffy. It's always flat. I don't know why, but the other one's always much better.
Yeah. That's what, yeah, my first set will be my first pancake.
Or it's better than killing your first patient.
That's true. But yeah, it's got to be weird to go back into surgery and you're like, I haven't done this for 5 months.
You're like, I know kind of what to do, but like we'll just see how we'll just see how we're gonna go. Like I don't know.
No, I don't know. I guess I'll just try to have fun with it. But that's the other weird thing too, is like that is actually the only date I have on the books right now. It's not like anything is lined up right after and then I'm back into the swing of things.
September we both have Moon Tower and Skankfest, but I don't think either will happen.
That's what I'm thinking that's happened. That's why I'm just like, I don't really see it in the books.
I don't think Moontown will happen. It's Moontown, Moon Tower. What the hell am I saying?
Tower.
Moontown.
Well, also because Texas is getting hit
really hard.
Yeah. So and they don't give a shit. So I feel like it's just going to keep getting worse.
That'll probably get canceled. And then I think Skankfest is in Houston. So I think Lewis will keep saying it's going on. And then like 2 weeks before, but like, this is off.
Yeah, well, I just saw a post from the guy that runs the secret group, and he was like, we're shutting down one of our employees is sick, and we can't start until we know what she has. So she has to get tested. So they had to shut it down again.
Oh, so what were they doing there before? Just shows?
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe she has COVID. Maybe if they all get COVID together, then they'll be all right.
Yeah, I guess it's herd immunity. Bobby says he has antibodies.
Interesting.
But his wife doesn't have anything. So we're like, how did you get it and she didn't?
Also, what does antibodies actually mean? Does it mean
that you've had it? No, it just shows that you've had it, and I think that you can't get sick again recently, but you can still probably catch it again like a year from now, like you can with the flu.
I mean, he's doing some road gigs.
Yeah, he just did Florida, and he said it was fine. And they're spiking. Like Tampa was really bad, which I think he's from, or that's where he just came from. I know a few people. I know Sam canceled, and then somebody else did. I thought it was Soder, but it wasn't. But they canceled one of their gigs because they're in a state that's not great. And then New York is doing a thing like if you're coming back from one of like a major hotspot, then you have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
But like, who's following up on that?
I don't know. And we were just saying that Mark doesn't give a shit.
Mark's not. I think if Mark had COVID, he still wouldn't quarantine. I think he'd still be out.
He's the kind of guy that would not let you know, like if it was like a zombie apocalypse that he was the one that got bitten, he would just keep it quietly to himself until he turned on one, and then you had to shoot him.
That's true. If he had COVID, he wouldn't even tell anyone. He would just be coughing and dying in front of everyone. He's so crazy because I talked to him the other day, and I asked him, I guess, about wherever he was performing, and he was like, "Oh, it was great, this and that," and I was like, "What I say to him?" Where he's like, I was like, "Oh, like I assume he must be making great money to be doing it." You know what I mean? Like I I didn't think he would be making like at the low ends. And he's like, oh, the money's not that great. I'm like, so then why are you doing it? He's like, oh, for love of the game. And I'm like, love of the games?
Yeah, just podcast or do some Zooms.
I think he has really bad ADD. I don't think he can sit still.
Well, Bobby was saying that's the problem. These clubs now are trying to undercut you.
Right.
And they say they're not at full capacity or they're following the rules, but they still push it and go quite a bit over.
Yeah, I could see that because I think when I saw where Bobby was, I don't think it was at lower capacity at all. It was kind of packed.
Yeah. So I imagine I'm like the perfect social distancing comic because that's the kind of amount of people I'll draw. Yeah. So it works out. But for some of I think for some of them, like I heard Nate Bargatze canceled his because he couldn't sell out. Not because of that, but he wanted to reach full capacity, and that I was like, oh, I'm not having that problem. So he only wants to do it until he can do full capacity.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. I don't think he really needs the money that desperately, but I don't know his financial situation. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's weird because some people are like, is it wrong to do like these sets and possibly get other people sick or have them get infected? And you're like, well, some people have a family, and I think if you make a certain amount of money, you're not eligible for unemployment. I'm not sure if that's the rule, but I thought if you made like over 90 or 100 grand, you weren't eligible for unemployment. Is that true?
Something maybe like that. I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, I'm not anywhere close to that, so it's not really an issue for me. But so I assume if people have families and they're not making unemployment, there's a need for them to want to go out on the road and make money. Like, I get it on both sides.
Yeah. Well, I understand. Like, I know. I feel like Mark is pretty competitive. That I bet you he just wants to know when we come out, he'll be like, already have an hour, and then we'll just want to shoot ourselves.
Well, I mean, he already said he has 20 new minutes.
Yeah.
From when he taped his album, when he did his special. I'm like, that's great. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's so weird, too, because every day it seems like things get a little bit better and then they get a little bit worse.
Yeah. Well,
in terms of everything, though, just.
It is weird because you feel like you're doing better and then you watch the news and you're like, oh, this is like, it's spiking all over. The only thing is that New York's doing better now. New York doesn't feel that way.
But I wonder if we go from stage 2 to stage 3, like once people start taking the subway again, like in high capacity, I think it will start to spread again quickly.
Oh yeah, especially with the morning commute.
You're just like jam packed. So maybe a lot of those people are now working from home though for indefinitely or a longer period of time. So
well, I want to get us to be podcast famous so we don't ever have to leave.
How do we do that though?
I don't know. We have to start beefs and go onto other people's podcasts that have a lot of followers.
We could start a beef with Chris Scalia, but I feel like he'd be like, those two old bags. I'm not gonna fight with them.
I know.
He'd be like, maybe if they have a daughter, I'll fight with her.
Yeah, but just like think of that podcast, like Call Me Your Daddy or whatever. They're like 25 and they have like 1 million followers on Instagram.
Well, they're also talking a lot about extensively like how to finger someone's butthole the right way. Like, I don't even know how to correctly finger someone's butthole. I mean, let's put it this way. I've only fingered a couple of buttholes, and I mean, I think I'm doing it right, but I'm sure that I could learn. Like, look, after this podcast, I'm probably going to go listen to their podcast to figure out how to finger a butthole.
Well, I was going to say it's like they always dress in sweats, but they have like acrylic nails and long hair. And they talk about, like, when is the right time to do anal? And I'm like, never.
It's like definitely right after Mexican. That's the best time to do anal.
Well, I thought about for us, I would start wearing very tight, sexy dresses on the show.
I like this outfit you have on right now.
Yeah.
This outfit right now. Do you remember when what was that movie they made, A League of Their Own?
Yeah.
I feel like right now you and I look like two female softball players.
Yeah, from the like 1930s.
Yes.
I know it's a lot of energy. It's 1:00 and I probably had when we started, I had tons of time to put my bodycon dress and get my hair straightened.
It's just not fun. I mean, I washed my hair last night because you should have seen what it looked like. I was like, I have to get ready to podcast. My hair looked like a rat's nest.
Well, I
Also,
guess, yeah.
it's getting longer, and like I wash it, just like a clump fell out. Where I'm like, I might just shave my head. I think it's the opposite. Let's just look gross.
Yeah, let's just look as gross and homeless as we can. The other option I thought is like when we get back into the Vagimobile, we just always wear cop uniforms.
Ooh, everyone hates cops right now anyway.
Yeah, so we can just pretend we're really bad cops and we don't do anything because we're in our car talking about how much hair we're losing in the shower.
And also the right way to finger an asshole.
True. I don't know. All I know is to keep your fingernails short.
True.
And don't go too far. You just want a light pressure.
Well, my friend told me that you have to put it in and then do like a come hither type of thing. Did you teach me that or she did?
I don't think it was me because I'm not even practicing that in application.
I mean, I haven't been doing that in a while, but like you just do this and then you just
You're
keep
like,
saying, does
come
that
here,
feel?
lover boy.
And then you're like, is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Is that? You can just keep saying that.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I don't think I've never put my hand in anybody's butthole, not even Joe's.
See if Joe will let you do it.
We were talking about how many people in your life have seen your butthole.
I'm gonna say it's a fairly low number because even if you do anal, the lights are usually off.
Yeah, but even if you're doing doggy style, just the way that your legs are spread out, your butthole is exposed.
I mean, it's not a bad idea to do like doggy style and also have somebody bleach your asshole at the same time. They could do
That's
two
true.
at one.
I like to think that it's kind of funny that it's only been guys that I've dated that have seen my asshole, and then my mom, and maybe my doctor.
Yeah, I was gonna say your doctor's. I remember going to this doctor when I was a kid, and I had to get a physical, and she made me totally naked, bend over in front of her and like touch my toes, which I really don't think any other.
Was your underwear on? Was it for scoliosis?
No, my underwear were not on.
What?
Is that what they do in prison where you have to bend over and spread your ass cheeks? I feel like
Maybe.
that was. I don't know if I spread the ass cheeks, but I could have. I just feel like I don't remember anyone else's pediatrician asking them to do that.
I had one similar incident that way with my pediatrician, and I'm still to this day skeptical that that was an actual protocol that you have to do.
What did they make you do?
She made my mom leave the room, and then she made me pull down my pants, and then she stuck her finger in my vagina when I was like 12 years old. That I was like, what was, and she never explained why she was doing it. And I remember it made me feel weird. And then my mom came back, and then I'm always surprised that my mom has never asked me or been like, oh, the reason why the doctor did that is we were checking for this. So I have, the only thing I can think of is maybe they were seeing if my hymen was intact.
Can they tell? Why would they want to know that? That's such a weird thing. Is it because your mom thought you were banging someone?
Well, my thing is, maybe I remember as a kid I got busted, and now I found out that I was molested when I was younger, which explains so much stuff because I didn't think of it that way because it was from another kid. So I'm wondering if it has to do with something that way that they were thought maybe something had happened. But it's so weird that you would never tell me why you're doing this.
It's also weird that your mother had to leave. I wonder if my mother had to leave also. I should ask her.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what was I know that we would have to like touch our toes in middle school, and the school nurse would check you for scoliosis where I always thought that was weird. I remember one time everybody was wearing bras and I wasn't yet, and I felt self-conscious. So I asked if I could borrow my friend's bra, and she had like D's in middle school, and I was wearing, I was just a flat-chested girl wearing a big bra
You should have just filled it up.
with tissue paper. She must have, when she opened the curtain, was like, "Oh God, what do we have here?"
She's like, it's so crazy that you're wearing this bra that's too big for you. And you're like, well, I recently had 2 mastectomies. I used to have huge jugs. Now I have none. It's a very sad story for a 12-year-old.
But sure, check my spine. Like,
I remember I had to wear a bra, I think, before a lot of kids, and I hated that. So on either side of that, you don't want to feel like left out, or you don't want to be the only one to have to do something. So I get both of those situations.
oh yeah, to be on the other side, you wanted to be at the age or the where
In the middle.
everybody, yeah, in the middle where everybody's having to get it. Because I remember being like 4th grade when I started realizing, I was like, huh, I think Dee Dee's wearing a bra right now. Where you're like, interesting, because you can see it through their shirts.
Yeah. Or we just had those like summer dresses that were like very thin that you could see a bra through.
Yeah.
I remember my mom telling me that I needed to wear deodorant. I was like probably like 11 or 12, and she's like, I think you need to start wearing deodorant. Like basically being like, you stink.
Yeah,
And
you're a little gnarly right now.
You're gross. And we're gonna need you to start wearing some deodorant, or you're gonna have to sleep outside.
Yeah.
I guess
Mom had the same conversation.
It is weird to have to like be a mother, I guess, in that sense, or and tell your kid like you're growing up. And it's, do you know what I mean? Like it is weird to just go through puberty and like start to have boobs or start to grow. I remember just one day I had hair down.
Yeah, you're
Like
like
I had
out of nowhere.
I had no hair, and then I woke up and I had hair.
Yeah.
And then
you're like,
also I had a regular vagina, and then one day I just had like mud flaps. It just like it was. I was like, do I have an extra part of a vagina down here? I didn't even know what it was, because it's like the transition is like in a day.
yeah, it's overnight, and nobody tells you that your vagina is going to look pretty gnarly. Like,
Well, it also just like it's the equivalent of like guys' balls dropping, I guess.
yeah,
You're like my vagina's dropped.
yeah, like
all of
little
it's
guys,
weird.
little boys' balls. They're so cute because they're like tightly packed in there.
And then they just drop it at some point.
And then they end up looking like within like a day, old man balls.
It's so weird that like puberty and everything happens when you're like kind of young.
It's awful.
It should happen when you're like 18.
Agreed. And all at the same time. Like everyone has to take a pill and it happens at the same time.
So nobody feels like uncomfortable or left out. I just remember like being in school and like girls getting their periods for the first time, or just like, because that also sucks too. You don't know when it's coming, and then you could be in school and now it's like all over your outfit and everyone knows. Like, how embarrassing is that?
Yeah, you're bleeding. Like you can't even hide it. It's disgusting. And it's thick, gross blobs coming out of your body that you've never had before, and it feels like it's just gushing everywhere, even
It
though
looks like
it's
Jello.
yeah, it's disgusting. It's awful. I don't
know if this is how we're going to get more listeners. I think we took it a step too far. Look at little Zuzu, though, how cute she is.
Hi, Suzu. She's sleeping.
She's sleeping on 3 pillows and a blanket.
Well, she's special.
She's terrified of fireworks. So, do you guys have fireworks that are really bad every night?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, and everybody has these theories that it's like
everyone's saying
that are starting it or something.
Everyone's saying that it is some type of conspiracy.
Yeah, because it is really interesting. You're like, I know, but is it because, as you said last time, that we're just home that we're noticing it?
I don't know. I guess maybe that's true too. I've never been home this much. You know, usually we'd go out late at night, but I don't remember even this much fireworks. Like they're starting like at 9 o'clock. There were some nights I was home that early, you know, or
Yeah,
like
and we're
didn't go
not
out till
even
later.
we're not even that. They've been doing it for, it seems like, close to a month before 4th of July is happening.
Yeah, they've been happening since like Memorial Day,
Yeah.
and like Zuzu's so terrified.
I know, that's the weird thing. Like, it seems like everybody hates fireworks, so why are we doing it?
The only people that like them are the people setting them off.
I think there's like redneck guys that like fireworks.
I know, but they're like setting them off. All the boroughs are getting hit, but everyone said everywhere that they, like in LA, because I was just reading through on Facebook, like everyone's getting hit with them. So I wonder what it is.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've just never been like, I don't know, even for 4th of July on the big ones that you go see, like I actually could give a shit. Like it never really makes me wet in my panties. Like I'm never like, oh,
no, but
wow.
I'll see them and I'm like, that looks pretty. But after 5 minutes, I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to see an hour of this.
Yeah. I agree with you. Just do one big, amazing one for 5 minutes.
And that's it. Put your best, like do like your late night set of fireworks. Your best 5. My friend told me that because he works in the city, he's like, they're going to start, he's like, cops are going to go on strike. He's like, I was like, are they? He's like, I don't know. That's what I've heard.
Well, they've got a strong union. I mean, that just sounds like mayhem if they do it. But I know that they're not happy with the way that they've been treated or perceived in the press.
I mean, if I was a cop, I would probably just fucking quit. I'd be like, I'm out. Especially if you're a good cop, you're like, this blows.
Is it worth it?
You're like, everyone hates us. Like, if you try and, like, I don't know. I would never be a cop and risk my life anyway. My dad always wants me to be a cop and work behind a desk. And I was like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
But
my dad did the same thing. And I always thought it was because he lost faith in me because I just kept not doing anything with my life.
I think, honestly, dads are just like, I want you to have some stability. It's a good job. You have good benefits, good paycheck. I think you get to retire after 20 years. So, like, I get those benefits of it. But, I mean, everyone that just hates you all the time, you're like, oh.
You're considered a buzzkill. Although there was a cop in Houston that would do stand-up, and he would let comics ride in the car with him in the back seat. And even though I don't think he was supposed to.
No. I have a feeling that's like the second day of cop school where they're like, you can't let anyone just hang out.
Yeah, you can't have your friends with you. But I remember the comic that was telling me about it. He said it was so fun.
It seems like it would be fun. I would love it just to be able to speed through red lights.
Yeah.
That would be my favorite part of being a cop. And then once that novelty wore off, I'd be like, I'm done probably.
Yeah. I think being a detective would be fun.
I know, but do you have to be a cop first? How does that happen?
So. I think you just have to be a smart cop, which wouldn't be that hard.
No, a lot of cops are not that bright.
Yeah.
Not all of them are stupid, but
yeah.
I don't know. It just, there's like a war just raging right now in the middle of COVID. What a bizarre time. Then all like this Me Too shit's coming back. It's like, it's overload for your like senses. You're just like, holy shit, man, like enough. All of it.
I think it's because we're online all the time now because there's nothing else to do.
True.
I think that's why everything's so hyped up more.
That's true. I think I'm going to stop honestly being online so much. I'm just going to post like 2 things a day and then just leave my phone. I just can't be on it all the time. I wonder if other people home are experiencing the same thing where you're like constantly on, constantly getting all this information. Like, it's just making me so much more anxious because I'm knowing everything that's going on. Like, I don't need to know that yesterday was the highest day of the COVID numbers in the country.
Yeah. Because if you go outside and like hang out see how it is, like no one's treating each other poorly.
No. I mean,
and everyone's been really nice and it's no arguments. It's like constant, like, as you said, you put up an article and then you're just getting like a 40 comment argument happening underneath it.
Well, yeah, I woke up to that and I'm like, Jesus, man, what the fuck is this? And then people
Yeah.
are mad at you because you're not listing everything that's going on that's wrong. And you're like, hey man, I'm not the news.
Yeah.
I'm a
I
comic
just-
with 10,000 followers and I just keep losing them. So like, I don't know what you want from me. Anytime I post something like that, people just unfollow me and I assume it's probably a bunch of racists, but you're just like, all right. And then the comments, people are fighting. Then other people are like, how are you check your followers? And you're like, I don't know who's following me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not vetting everyone.
Yeah. I know. You're like, I am not responsible for whatever my followers say. And I don't condone the horrible stuff that they do. Sometimes those
Right.
people leave you after you post enough stuff that bugs the shit out of them.
What I don't like is people who comment on your stuff that are like mad at you and they don't even follow you. And you're like, hey man, what are you doing to yourself?
Why did you walk into my room and get
Yes.
mad at me?
It's so crazy. It's like if I hate radishes and I keep eating them, it's like, don't eat them. Why are you on my page? Like some guy that was upset about like the Tinder trolling, and I'm like, first of all, any guy that's upset about that is a guy that has trouble meeting women. It's always that guy. He's like so upset by it, and I'm like, dude, just stop following me.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's like, oh, I guess that's my problem then, right? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's your problem. It's not my problem. I had one guy, I keep kind of doing jokes about the Chris D'Elia thing. He was like, you're not funny. Your Instagram page looks like a Bratz doll page, which I'm like, what does that even mean? And then he goes, your
also,
profile.
How does he know what Bratz dolls are?
Yeah.
Like that's
I know. He's probably a dad.
Or he's probably fucking children. It's like, how do you know what Bratz dolls are?
And then he goes, your profile pic reeks of desperation. It's just me in a jacket that I bought at Marshall's 15 years ago on the boardwalk in Jersey, where you're like, I don't understand how this reeks of desperation. I just replied back. I was like, you're weird. Like a high school girl, because they have the best put downs.
It's so bizarre that how does that reek of desperation? Like, also just don't follow me. Just like, you ever scroll by someone's page and you don't like it and you're like, oh, I'm not going to go look back at that. But then there's like people who are actively looking to get mad.
Oh, yeah, it's like if I went on Twitter and looked for every profile pic that has like a pickup truck with a Confederate flag and then just went on there and just shat on where you're like, why would I just, that's like going to hang out with that guy. Like, why would I go to a place that's going to just make me angry?
I think I'm going to start reading.
That's a good, I don't have the mindset, like the,
I bet if you didn't have your phone, you could do that.
True. Should we do an experiment this week of take Twitter off our phone, just the app. You don't have to disconnect. Just take it off your app and then see if our lives will be better. And any tweets that you want to do has to be on the computer. Because I don't really scroll as much on my computer than I do on my phone.
I'm also on Instagram a lot. I'm on Facebook a lot. Like I'm on all of it a lot.
But Instagram doesn't bother me as much and Facebook as much as like Twitter. I'll just start seeing like a retweet from somebody that we know and it's an argument that I'm like, this is dumb and stupid.
That's true. You can also search stuff and see what's trending. I think all of it, honestly, I'm like an addict. I go from one to the next back, one to the next. And then I also hit up email. I'm like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, email, Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
And then once in a while, I'm like, what can I get on Amazon? Twitter, Instagram, email, Amazon, Twitter. I'll keep putting a new one in.
I used to do that at my day job when I worked I was a manager at the bar at a hotel, and I would just have to be in my office all day and there was nothing to do. So I would just do those 3 apps over and over again. And I'm like, God, if IT looked at this, if they ever brought this up, it would be more mortifying than if I just was watching porn.
Yeah, they'd be like, this girl all day is Twitter, Instagram. I mean, it's like back and forth. And I get like headaches from it. I honestly, I don't know if I'll take it off my phone because I don't really remember my passwords for stuff to do it on my computer. Okay. But I'm going to post my stupid things and then like leave my phone. I put it in my pocket when I walk because I like to track my steps. But like, I'm going to start reading. Marlene told me a book to buy. which is probably going to also make me crazy. It's about how all these corporations are trying to kill us.
Yeah.
So that'll be my new thing. But like I can't do it anymore. I'm also like I'm out of stuff to watch on TV.
Yeah, I just started Ozark, and it's one of the few TV shows that Joe's really into.
It's great. I finished it so quick. I'm mad.
Yeah.
It's so
We
good.
can discuss that. And now
Yeah.
I consider, since I'm on my phone all the time, I consider watching TV the equivalent of reading a book now. Where I'm like, oh, look at me doing something very healthy for myself.
Yes. Honestly, I think at this point doing heroin would probably be better for me than my phone.
Yeah. Because at least you're out and meeting people.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be scrolling on my phone the whole time if I was on heroin. I would just be like chilling out.
Yeah, and taking naps.
And just, sleeping in weird positions.
Like Zuzu.
Yeah, Zuzu's got the best life. She's so cute. I hope she doesn't die because I'm going to be really sad.
Oh, no. That'd be really horrible. Well,
I think she's okay for the next couple of years.
I think she looks like she's leaving a healthy lifestyle, so I think she'll be okay.
Of just resting.
Yeah.
I wonder if being on social media shrinks your lifespan. Because I would think it's just your brain has to at some point be like, I'm out.
Well, I do have this thing that I feel like before you know it, we'll be dead. And then I'm like, fuck, I just looked at my phone for most of my life.
That will be on my tombstone.
Yeah. She died what she loved doing, scrolling.
Yeah. They see me scrolling.
Anything planned this week? We should wrap it up. Anything to promote?
Nothing to promote. I'm working on my album, but I have nothing to promote.
Follow us on Instagram, both of our accounts, and Vag. Email us.
Yeah, email us your questions. I want to know what you guys are doing to like stay sane during quarantine, and if you've gone back to work or not. Like what phase your business is in. Like I think comedy. They said phase 4 will not include like movie theaters and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't
which honestly
sound
makes
good.
sense. Yeah, I don't think that we're gonna be doing comedy in New York indoors anytime soon.
Yeah. Definitely email us because we're doing a Patreon, just probably the $3 tier for next week that will answer. We have a few emails and we'll do that this week. So next week we'll have that. I think that's it.
Let's reach out to Mike and we don't have to talk about this now, do like a live podcast.
Okay, I'd love that.
That'd be
We
great.
can do it after the holidays.
Yeah, after the 4th of July.
All right, guys, stay safe.